Guys, through here, welcome to today's video. One of the most difficult things I see people facing is being able to land that very first job in tech without experience. Well, in this video, I'm gonna dive in and provide 10 creative ways you can use to land that very first job in technology, even if you have no experience. Let's dive in. Guys, welcome back. So let's dive in. 10 creative things you can do to land your very first job in IT without experience. I want to say it's not impossible. A lot of people, when they're trying to get that very first job, you might have your certification completed, you might have finished school, and you're trying to land that very first job, and it seems impossible. It seems like it's impossible. Well, we're going to go through this list of 10 things you definitely want to be doing to ensure that you increase your odds of getting that job. All right, so we're gonna go in no chronological order. The very first one, and this is what most people do, all right, is going to the company website and applying. You still definitely want to do that, all right. Most companies that are posting jobs out there, they have a website and they list out their careers. If you go on the website somewhere, usually at the footer there will be a career page. There'll be a career link, and if you click there, it can take you to the company's website, and from there you can directly apply to that position. So that'll be the very first thing I would do to ensure that you land that very first job as a beginner in technology. Now, the next thing after that is not just to go to every single company. You can imagine there are hundreds, if not thousands, of companies out there, and it could be very challenging to go through every single website and apply for those jobs. So the second thing that you want to do is to talk around, talk to friends, ask friends, right? Or your friends of friends, basically your network. All right, put the word out there, let people know you're looking for a job. Sure, it might seem like you're just talking and you're not necessarily applying for jobs, but guys, it helps, right? Somebody might know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody that talks about a job, and then they end up referring you to that position. So make sure you put the word out there. If you're looking for a job, let people know, let your friends know, and tell them, not for them to just know that you're looking for a job, tell them to hopefully tell their friends, their co-workers, their companies. All right, you never know where the opportunity might come from. So make sure friends and friends of friends are all aware that you're looking for a job. Now, point number 3 is to get referrals. And this goes into that whole notion of never burning bridges. So most of us, you're trying to get a new job, you might have worked at a previous job before. Guys, you want to take advantage of what you've done before so people can refer you to that next position. All right, there is just something about referrals that is invaluable. It's this whole idea of social proof. All right, if there's nobody in this universe that can refer you to a position, then there's something really tricky, right? You might want to think about why no one in their right mind will want to refer you to a position. So you want to make sure that you're always building bridges. That way you can reach out to people and say, hey John, I am looking at applying for this beginners developer position at so and so company, or as this analyst, or this security professional at so and so company. Can you refer me? Can you just write a little bit of referral for me? Or would you be open to being a referrer if they were to call you? So that's definitely something you want to do. And the only way you can ask for somebody to be a referrer for you is if you haven't burned bridges, right? A lot of people, when they work at companies, they think their boss is horrible, they think their co-workers suck, they feel like they're moving on to greener pastures, and so they want to insult everybody so they can move on. That's the last thing you want to do, because you're burning bridges. All right, so always make sure you build bridges, so when it comes to point number 3, you can leverage that and get the referrals that you need to move on to the future positions. All right, so now this takes us to point number 4, which is asking around, right? Asking around. I know it might seem like this is similar to point number 2, which was friends of friends and being able to spread the word. It's one thing to spread the word, it's another thing to proactively ask around. All right, and friends of friends is good, but when you're asking around, you're not just necessarily just talking to people. What about writing a blog post? What about writing a social media update? What about tweeting? What about doing all the creative things that are out there that you can be doing to let people know that you're looking for a job? So you gotta ask around. All right, you definitely gotta ask around. Now, point number 5 it's kind of, you see these points build on each other. So point number 5 is going to build from point number 4, which is, so point number 4 is asking around. Point number 5 is going to talk about, you gotta go to social events, right? You can't just sit in your room all day long and ask around or write social media posts, right? There is a saying that I really like, and that is, birds of the same feathers flock together. All right, so you want to find where people who are in the industry that are doing the job you're doing, where do they congregate? All right, then you want to go to those events, you want to attend those social gatherings and put your face out there and put your name out there. All right, so things like meetups, you want to find them and attend those meetups. Things like user groups, usually most cities would have user groups, right? You might have a user group for Python, you might have a user group for Tableau, you might have a user group for AWS, you might have a user group for Azure or user group for SQL. All right, find those user groups and make sure you attend them and show them your face. All right, birds of the same feather flock together. If you're not going for those user groups, guys, you're really reducing your odds. Now, point number 6, and this is just the one that most people are used to using, right, which is job search sites, right? Your aggregate sites like Monster, Indeed, Dice.com, guys, those are still very relevant, right? You still want to go there. And the benefit for going to these job search sites, which are kind of like aggregate sites, is because they can pull from different companies and show you all in one place, and there is a certain value to that. All right, in point number 1, you go directly to the company website and you apply. That's good. But if you have to apply to 50 companies a day, that could be very challenging. So what some of these websites do, these job search sites, is they can aggregate from all these companies, put it in one place, and then you can create an easy apply button, right, where you can just click and it applies to a bunch of other companies at the same time for you. Now, there are advantages and disadvantages to that. I'm going to make a separate videos to dive into whether you should apply directly to a company website or if you should use this job aggregate websites. But either way, it's still a resource that you definitely want to take advantage of as you're going through your job search process. Now, step number 7. Guys, and this one will surprise a lot of people. Step number 7 might surprise a lot of people, and the reason is because we are not taught about it. I know very few people, I can guarantee you, have actually put this into practice, but it's still a tool nonetheless you can have in your tool belt, and that is paid advertisement. All right, paid advertisement. There are businesses that are literally afloat today because they pay on social media to elevate their content and put it in front of eyeballs. Now, if you want to be heard, if you want to get in front of the eyeballs of recruiters and get hired, are you willing to put $50 to pay and elevate maybe your post, your content, your resume, so it can go to the top, so somebody can see it? Would you do that? I for sure would definitely do it. Right now, we can go into, is that ethical or not? Personally, I think it is. Why not, right? You're simply, if you can pay and get your resume to the top, I don't know why wouldn't that be ethical. All right, so that's something to consider. All right, one way you can take advantage of this is, if you have the good skill, the right skills, maybe create a blog post, create a content, or just your resume. If you're putting it on LinkedIn, for example, you can certainly promote your content on LinkedIn. If you're putting it on Twitter, you can certainly do promotions on Twitter, or even Instagram if you type more into the creative kind of space. Not so much Facebook, just because Facebook is not really a recruiting platform per se, but you're really looking at LinkedIn, Twitter for sure, and then maybe some Instagram, depending on what industry you're working on. All right, so don't rule this out. A lot of people would say, that's so strange, guys. Don't rule it out, right? Why would you rule out something if there is a chance there that it might take you to some place? All right, so point number 7, just to recap, paid advertisement is something you should consider. All right, some people might say, well, I don't have money, I'm just trying to get money, I'm trying to get the job so I can get money. But guys, maybe just missing out on that coffee or that breakfast, or just not going out on Friday night can save you $20, and you can use that $20 to promote and elevate one of your posts or one of your content or your resume on some of these platforms as such. All right, now point number 8 goes into being even more creative, and again it builds on point number 7. Being more creative. What about making a video, right, like this? Literally, I take my phone or my camera, I turn it on, and I can talk into it. All right, what about doing something like this to promote yourself? A lot of people are used to always just, writing a resume or a CV, and that's all they do, right? Guys, what about making a video that talks about you, that shows your character, that shows what you like, what you don't like, what you're capable of, and shows a different dimension of you, which is a little bit different than just writing a resume. All right, so that's definitely something that you might want to consider to set yourself apart. Now, point number 9 is this entire process of looking for a job could be long, and it could be tedious, and it could be draining, and it could just carry on for a long time. And hopefully not. But if it does, what are you doing